What is going on YouTube and y'all squad? This is your boy Yocrates, and this is your review for Belle Collective Season 3, Episode 2. So let's go ahead and jump right into this, and weirdly enough, well, not really weirdly enough, but we pick up where we left off, and that's with Latrice and Cliff and Amanda at M-Bar, and Cliff, for what it's worth, scolding Latrice, which again had me very uneasy last week and still has me uneasy this week. And Latrice pretty much said that Cliff was mad at her because she may have forgotten to tell him that she was going to for drinks with Amanda. And she also lets us know that this isn't the first time that Cliff has popped up on her. Now, we're going to see something similar happen next week with Letitia. But that's something kind of totally different because I really feel that was more of a stunt pulled by production. But if Latrice is telling us that this has happened to her prior to this one time, multiple times before, that is very alarming. And again, I'm just saying, I'm not going to say the A word, but it leads me to believe that, you know, some things ain't quite right over at that household. And she says that she feels like she's being chaperoned and all these other things, and pretty much just saying like she feels like she's a child and that is her father. But here's the reality. One, yes, and it's not even really her dating an older man, even though he has, for the most part, raised her to his hand. But the fact that you call him Zaddy, even though it's not technically Daddy, but it's along the same lines, and she's also admitted to having, what do you call it? I guess like father issues, daddy issues, or whatever. It does lead to that. And the way that you show up in there, it's popping up now. So calling him daddy and all these other different things, yeah, he's playing a role that you know all too well. And she even said that she kind of stays in situations with men or allows certain things to go on because she saw what her mother endured and pretty much standing, you know, her marriage and, you know, honoring, you know, the vows till death do us part. So just putting up with whatever it is. But man, y'all, look, real talk, y'all really got to get out of that. And y'all, and when I say y'all, and it's not even just women, but everybody, y'all really need to like truly understand what marriage was, not what how we see it now. Marriage ain't nothing but a contract. Marriage ain't nothing but a business. And I'm going to get into part of this a little bit later when I talk about JJ, but that's really all that marriage is. And please excuse the squeaking. My dog is choosing to play with her squeaky toy while I'm trying to work. Yeah. I'm not going to... Look, okay. We're just going to deal with it. She's being a douche nugget. She likes to do that. Okay, all right. Anyway... I said that. So, and now I'm sorry. So Josh shows up, and he even speaks to Cliff. It's kind of because Cliff is literally standing across from them, just staring at them as this scene is being produced. And you know, Josh kind of were like, "Hey," and Cliff pretty much is like, "No, don't talk to me." Like I'm like in essence like trying to help produce the scene, which is so weird to me and very controlling. And then at one point, because now Cliff then went from like looking directly at them to sitting in a booth adjacent to them, having a conversation with somebody he probably doesn't even know. Also, he can ear hustle. It is crazy, mad crazy. And okay, I want to say this last, but one thing that I will say is it's very clear. This is so weird. my dog is being an a-hole. But it's very clear that her friends have more than likely seen this behavior from Cliff and probably aren't going to jump. Because even with last week, I didn't mention it, how Amanda saw everything, you know, like happening and not really jumping in. And it kind of gave me the whole Eat the Cake anime scene where I forget the old girl name, but got hit and said, I only got to get hit but once. And it's one of those where, friends, family, whatever, like, if they know what's going on, they've already said to you, they don't know how many times to get out of it, this, that, da, 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 da. At some point, it's just, I'm going to be here to listen to you, and I'm going to give you something, but I'm not going to intervene, because no matter what I say, you're going to go back to this person more chances than not. And I don't need to be public enemy number one in your household, right? But Latrice says she feels protected by this behavior, but her friends and Nessus feel like he's being possessive, which is true. And I'm also going to say this, and I'm going to just share a piece. Like, like, my landlord is my mother. Like I said, I pay rent on the second floor. My mom has the first floor. And again, I want to be clear. I pay rent, okay? Like I said, I ain't live with my mom. I got my own space and everything. But when I do leave out, primarily because I use public transportation because of Chicago, why not? I let her know, like, hey, I'm going here and I'm doing this, especially if I'm, like, not within the immediate couple of blocks. Not because I'm a kid or anything else. Like, one, I know the area in which we live in, but still, it's one of those where I'm letting somebody know, hey, I'm going here. So if you don't hear from me when I'm supposed to be back, at least you have an idea of where I'm going and where I should have been. And it makes it easier for you to help track me down, this, that, and the third, if something does go right or whatever the case may be. That's one thing. What Cliff is doing is completely different. And more than likely, either he has a tracker on her phone, or he has a tracker on her phone, or maybe has a tracker in that vehicle. But again, some behavior that I don't really like. Anyway, we get So Gucci and JJ, and we get a lot of So Gucci this episode. So, her daughter D and his daughter Star stop by, and JJ says that his relationship with Star has been strained because he found out on social media that not only is she pregnant, but she's also married, and even feels that his ex-wife has something to do with it, might be in their ear, and might have possibly been at the wedding and whatnot. So he feels away. Okay, we'll get to that. We also see that the girls, they are in a better place than where they were last season. And so Gucci feels that it's because her daughter D has a baby, and Star is about to have one, and that's something they can connect over. And look, it's good that, something is bringing them together. So that's good. Really appreciate it. So JJ pulls his daughter to the side, and to let her know that, he feels a way about the whole thing. And it's like, he felt robbed because, he didn't get a chance to walk her down the aisle. And he felt that her husband should have came to him and asked permission to marry his. Again, you got to pay attention to the words that people use. Not ask for her hand, ask permission. And she says that he wanted to, but she kind of, told him not to. I'm not sure if that's true, but I'm just saying this is what she's saying. But even saying, like, it's kind of hard to talk to you about certain things. And I want to, but I'm going to get my point out, because I swear sometimes I'll be trying to save it to the end and then I'll be forgetting it. What I didn't like about that is, again, with the whole marriage thing, is nothing but a contract, this, that, and the third. And a lot of things are rooted in a really crazy patriarchy that we live in. And even when it comes to marriage, that whole thing of asking for the hand in marriage is because more often than not, the like I said, the men, or the boys, I should say, were, especially when it was, heavy on the farming and all that stuff, was out working, taking care of the cattle, this, that, and third, farming, blah, blah, blah. The women were in the household, taking care of the household, cooking, cleaning, all that other stuff. So for someone to come and take your daughter, now you're taking a hand from my household. So the whole asking permission is you're literally asking, hey, your daughter, who is property to you, because that's exactly what it was, and that I'm asking, can I, take her off your hands? And typically a payment is arranged, some form of a dowry, something like that, sometimes happen, and blah, 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 and all this other stuff. But, and this lets you know we're not that far removed from women being seen as property. So him saying that old boy needed to ask his permission, I don't know how I feel about that. But again, I'm a new school fool, not an old school fool, so I don't know. So Gucci tells us that JJ's ex has been in the girl's her daughter's own ears, trying to pit them against her and whatnot. But in spite of all that, she will be showing up to the baby shower. So we get Tamra. It's a homecoming tailgate. I'm gonna go ahead and sum this up right quick because I ain't spent a whole lot of time with this. So Gucci had an interview with her, and so Gucci got a invite directly to it, this tailgate. And Tamra said to her, "Oh, I invited all of the Belles," but she didn't. Only so Gucci showed up, and in the interviews, the ladies were kind of discussing it. Now y'all know I don't see if I'm gonna say her name right, Akeisha. But in this moment, I did, because she even said in her interview, "Did I have something going on that day? No. Was I going? No." I appreciate the honesty. So now we get JJ and Cliff. So now we get the men having, a little men session. JJ confronts Cliff about, their wife situation. Cliff pretty much says that Gucci wasn't moving fast enough, and at the end of the day, it's just business. But the way in which he was talking about it led me to believe that that might have been his decision for her to go with another realtor. I don't know. It's just something about it that seems a little to me. But I'm going to let it alone. Then Glenn shows up, and then Cliff mentions, no contracts were signed between the women. And again, I don't know how that works, so maybe somebody can let me know in the comments. But if there was no contracts, so it seems like it was just, "Hey, can you help me out? And when everything is all said and done, I'm going to pay you on the back end." I don't know. Y'all let me know. And we also see that Cliff is choosing not to bring up the M-Bar situation. He was asked in the interview, and he pretty much said, like, it's a private situation, and y'all was eavesdropping. So Glenn talks about his situation, don't care. And then JJ asks Cliff if he's going to the baby shower, and Cliff, lets it be known that, JJ's ex-wife was messing around with him when she was only 2 weeks married. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's messy. And even told him that it was a forced marriage because she got pregnant. Messy. I wonder if they're going to have Selena at the reunion, or if they're going to bring home for season 4, because I feel like she gonna have to defend herself, because this is a lot. And again, I didn't watch the show that JJ was on, so I don't know nothing about it. I'm just saying all this at face value, but ooh, they dogging this woman. So we get Latrice and Josh at, Goddess Limbs, and we find out that she told Josh about what Cliff had said in the parking lot prior to him showing up. And Josh still upset, and he's hurt because of it, and he doesn't know where his relationship with her stands. And Latrice apologized on her husband's behalf, which I get it, but no, because the person that is committing the offense needs to be the one to go ahead and hit with the apology, but we know that's not going to happen. And him being hurt by what was said leads me to believe more was said that wasn't caught on camera. They're just choosing not to show it. Y'all can fill in the blanks on what was probably said. And she even says that, that's her husband and whatnot. And, she's going to stand by him, but she's trying to figure out how to be a good wife and how to be a good friend. And he's kind of side-eyeing her on the friend part, like, you really ain't being a good friend. But Josh goes ahead and he does something I appreciate, and I was here for it. He sets a boundary. Now, she needs to set a boundary with him in terms of how you're going to conduct yourself in my home when it comes to my husband. Because we may be friends and whatnot, but you can't be sitting here disrespecting him in his house, our house. Like, you can't do that. But he pretty much says to her, like, I don't want to know nothing about your marriage. Like, pretty much moving forward, don't talk to me about your man. Don't talk. We can talk about us and everything else. Don't talk to me about Cliff. Kudos to him for that. So so Gucci has a boot camp that she's doing with the ladies. Tisha thought it was yoga because she brought everything for yoga. And this was actually them working out. And this is one of those where it's like reality television meeting reality. Because a lot of times when, people are doing these quote unquote exercises and whatnot, especially the women, they are way too done up. And it's like, okay, you're not working out fully glammed and everything. You're not doing that. So Latrice is late. And so Gucci makes it her mission to call her out and being very passive aggressive. And it was nasty, like real talk. And like, I get it, but it's one of those where if you got an issue, just talk to the woman. You feel me? But Marie shows up literally as they're about to go into the cool down. she's doing nothing but giving her props and all this other stuff. So it's you coming off real fake. So to be so Gucci, you coming off real fraudulent. Just saying. So okay, so Gucci lets us know this is not the time nor the event for her to hash things out with Latrice. Okay, but when Tamara asked Marie why she wasn't there at the tailgate, and she kind of lets her know, like, you've been moving a little funny. Latrice walks up, and even though I don't always see it from Marie, I appreciate her in this moment where it's, okay, somebody who I don't mess with just walked up, so I'm going to talk to, like, we're going to table this conversation, and I'm going to talk to you about it later, because she doesn't want to have that conversation with her. Cool, I get it. I'm not mad about it. Tambra talks to Tisha and Latrice about the tailgate, and Tisha says, like, I was never invited. And Tambra tells us in her interview that, well, she thought that in her inviting So Gucci that she was going to invite the other ladies, even though that's not what you said in the moment. So it's the lies that they're saying that you be telling, like, they're starting to catch up with you. They really are. And then Tambra blames, this on being booked and busy, but says she'll do better. So we get to the baby shower. This is the last scene. Cliff and Latrice show up. Now, I'm sorry. So Gucci and JJ arrive first, and then Cliff and Latrice show up. And So Gucci is clearly taken aback, because I guess she didn't know that she was going to be there. Now, typically they do have, call sheets and all this other stuff, and you kind of sort of know who will and won't be at a scene unless productions being, petty and messy. And this is a Carlos King production, so probably... But didn't know that she would be there. Okay, cool. I'll accept that. But Latrice lets her know that, she'd been cool with Selena for years. And Selena was, her day, like one of her day ones when it came to Goddess Limb. So she's definitely going to be here to, show up and support. Okay, cool. Then Tamara shows up, and we also find out from her that, she's familiar with Selena. So, now you see, So Gucci, talking with Tamara and whatnot, but not saying nothing to Latrice, and not saying she has to. But again, the optics of how things are coming up, and of course Latrice feels it and sees it, right? So Gucci wanted some water, and there wasn't any, but at the moment, and I believe that Selena said she was going to go get her some, but even said, well, there's some lemonade here, and I mean, hey, like, you're wearing yellow, the lemonade's yellow, like, y'all matching. And then so Gucci said, well, you did something right, and when she said that, I am shocked that, now I don't know Selena, right? I'm surprised that didn't warrant a response. That would have gotten a response out of me, like, what you mean I got some... Man, when I tell you, that would have been one of those where, okay, obviously you want a moment. Obviously you want a moment. And then in her confessional, I'm sorry, not her confessional, it's her interview. In her interview, she is literally shading the, baby shower up and down, this and third. Now, one thing I will say is when it comes to the food, yeah, maybe, like, the food should have been there when the people got there. That's one thing that I will say, right? Other than that, like, people spending all this money for, stuff that don't require all that. Now, again, I understand it's a reality TV show. I get all that. But some stuff you don't have to spend all that money for. A baby shower, it is what it is. Like, and for something like that, I would rather whoever is hosting it, so in this instance, it's Selena, as long as the money that could have went to this baby shower is going to her daughter and that baby, I don't see a problem with it. But again, we live in America to where everything has to be, flashy and all that. Because again, I still don't understand how people spending thousands of dollars, upwards of hundreds of thousands of dollars on a wedding, which is literally just a party, but you already putting yourself in debt. If you got a car, you got a note on that, you got a mortgage, like, it's like you putting yourself further in debt, and y'all ain't even been married yet. Like, some of this stuff just don't make sense to me, but let me get off my soapbox, because this ain't got nothing to do with me. Anyway, we end the scene with So Gucci going up to Latrice saying she didn't know that she was going to be there, and Latrice lets us know in her interview now, Latrice, baby, I love you, but, well, what she said, I would say it, then I would give my commentary. She says about So Gucci in her interview, it is not my fault that JJ is still in love with his ex. My husband is in love with me. Maybe exercising ain't working. Miss Ma'am, yeah, those are fighting words. I know at the reunion that's gonna be Ooh, it's gonna be some smoke in the city, not a fire truck to put it out, but I'm gonna be here for it. And then Latrice pulls her, outside so they can have a conversation. So that was the episode. I gave y'all more than I thought I would, but sometimes I like to, pontificate and expound on stuff, give y'all a little bit of extra. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. I am going to watch Atlanta right after this. And I will get that to you expeditiously. But make sure that you join me here tonight, here at the Citadel for the Whether You Like It or Not panel, where we will be discussing last night's episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. So it's going to be a good time had by all. So make sure that you guys are here. If you haven't hit the notifications, like I said, everything is there. So make sure you do that. And yeah, with that being said, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will see you for the next video. All right, peace out.